Could India be the first trade deal for the Trump administration? And the tariffs are driving a revival at one Smyrna manufacturing plant. Those stories coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, Betterwater.com. It does look like we may have the YouTube stream up and running. Shout out to our engineer team. Love those guys. We're also talking about these Democrats that were denied a visit with the Maryland man. You may know him as the El Salvador man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So we had 4 Democrats go down there yesterday. We had Maxwell Frost out of Florida. We had... What's her face? Congresswoman Maxine Dexter out of Oregon, Yasemin Ansari, and also Robert Garcia. Now, when Senator Van Hollen went, it was a taxpayer-funded trip. When these Democrats went, this appears to be more of a donor-funded trip because James Comer was asked by these Democrats if they could have their trips approved, and James Comer told them no. No, you can't have that approved.
You also, as chairman, have some duties and responsibilities, and that is signing off on travel for members of Congress who maybe want to go to El Salvador to meet with people who have been deported. What's your take on this? What are you going to do with this?
Well, I had 2 members of the House Oversight Committee, Garcia from California and Frost from Florida, and they sat there silent during the entire Biden investigation, during the entire investigation of Border Patrol and Mayorkas that we had in the Oversight Committee. If anything, they were obstructive. They weren't concerned. They showed no concern for the lack of our national security or the violation of our southern border security laws. But then this one person that the liberal media picked up on that was deported to El Salvador, they went crazy before it came out that he was actually an MS-13 gang member, and they wanted me to authorize funding at my committee's expense to send them down to El Salvador and meet with this person for a photo op and to have margaritas and, enjoy the sunny weather. And I obviously denied their request. We're not going to spend a penny of taxpayer dollars for liberal Democrats to continue their stunts to try to appease the radical left-wing base when the American people spoke loud and clear on Election Day. They want our southern border secured, and they want criminal illegals deported, and that's exactly what Donald Trump's doing.
James Comer, we salute you for denying the taxpayer-funded travel for those Democrats. We got a lot more from those Democrats when we get back, plus some audio from Stephen Miller that you're not going to want to miss. And if you're just joining us, we are back live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Supertalk TV up and running. Thanks to our friends at Betterwater LLC. 9:31, time for the news with Joan Jones.
Good morning, 9:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a crash this morning in Bellevue. It's on 40, the eastbound lanes at Old Hickory Boulevard West. The traffic center telling us this one involves 3 cars. One of them right now is in the trees. Careful in that area. 2 right lanes are blocked off. In the news, Vice President J.D. Vance and family have arrived in India.
The vitality to India, a sense of infinite possibility, of new homes to be built, new skylines to be raised, and lives to be enriched.
Included in this 4-day visit, Vance is helping negotiate a bilateral trade deal, and the BBC reports progress is being made. India was set to face 27% U.S. tariffs before the pause was announced. Since then, Delhi and Washington have been working toward an early conclusion of trade negotiations. Tariff threats have put a new focus on American manufacturing plants. Now, Nissan has announced plans to ramp up production at the plant in Smyrna. That's where Nissan Rogues are made. Nissan executives say they're reversing course after staff cuts were announced in January. Now they will max out production. Those are their words. The funeral for Pope Francis is set for Saturday. Cardinals around the world, meantime, are gathering at the Vatican.
They're going to start talking to each other about what the church needs. What is the church looking forward to in the next pope? The cardinals who are arriving, because most of them haven't arrived yet, right? also need to get to know each other.
Friar John Walk there is a professor and church historian. A check on Wall Street right now looking pretty good. The Dow Jones Industrials are gaining 654 points. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Betterwater, and I talk about these guys all the time, but I really do have to tell you about my friends over at Betterwater. If you're tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain bad tasting water at your home or office, these are the guys you need to call. Think of it like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, under your sink, or even for your business. And these guys can handle everything. They'll remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. You name it, they've got a system to clean it out of your water. Whether you need reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, Betterwater has you covered. Now, they're a local company, too, which is the best. Based right out of Smyrna. They serve all of Middle Tennessee. You've probably tasted their work, actually. These are the same guys that are doing the water at your coffee shops and even the hospitals around town. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Betterwater a call today, 615-355-6063, or you can check them out online, betterwater.com. Make sure you tell them Chris Hand sent you, 615-355-6063, betterwater.com. And the show is brought to you by our friends at Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. We got a lot to get to today. You can listen to us anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch us. Yes, we're back up on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. At the beginning of the show, it didn't look like we were going to have a live stream today. Then our engineering team came in and fixed it. So I made a lot of noise about the clothing selection that I have today. And now everybody's disappointed. I'm getting texts. They're like, that's what you're wearing?
Clothing selection? Okay.
I'm not allowed to say outfit anymore, Joan.
Correct.
I've been told that outfit is too effeminate.
Gotta get
There you go.
creative.
So I gotta figure something else out. So yeah, it's not
Threads. Somebody said call them threads.
Yeah, but I'm almost 40, Joan.
Based.
I don't know if I can get away with that one. Threads. Isn't that a failed social media app? I think so.
Yeah.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia. A lot of Democrats wanted to meet him yesterday. They wanted to have a little meet and greet. They wanted to have a photo opportunity. They wanted to post it on the Instagram. They want to do a little collab action.
Treating El Salvador like it's Hollywood Boulevard.
You know what
trying
I
to
mean?
meet characters.
What are they doing? What are they doing? So they wanted to have you pay for it, the taxpayers. James Comer shut that down. But many of these Democrats who went over there are still very upset that they were denied. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter is one of those individuals. She is out of Oregon, and she was saying, we're here in El Salvador because this is a constitutional crisis.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter here, coming to you from El Salvador. I flew here last night with 3 of my colleagues to demand that Kilmar Abrego Garcia be released. He is being held in violation of a Supreme Court order expressly telling the Trump administration to effectuate and facilitate his coming home. That is being ignored. This is not just a threat to all people in the United States who could be illegally abducted, detained, and transported internationally against their will. But it is a fact that our president does not recognize the branches of government and the balances of power. This is what we all have been calling a constitutional crisis, yet it is more severe than anything we've seen. We cannot stay silent. We must stay loud. I am here because I refuse to wait for something to happen. We are here to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
So stunning, so brave, such an inspiration. Do you feel the inspiration just flowing through your body when you hear that stunning and brave speech by Rep. Maxine Dexter out of Oregon? It's funny that she cares about an El Salvadoran man and she's willing to travel to El Salvador there. Yet in her own region and district, we have illegal alien crime just skyrocketing, and she doesn't seem to give a damn. Like this case, for instance, why hasn't Rep. Maxine Dexter brought up the case of Alvaro Flores Barboza, that 24-year-old citizen of Venezuela who escaped from an ICE processing facility before he was arrested in Portland, Oregon? He has convictions for assault, reckless driving, and felony use of a weapon. She didn't mention that in the video. That would have been stunning and brave. She also didn't mention Juan Jose Sebastian, 26-year-old citizen of Guatemala, who was arrested for a 2017 rape and sexual assault charges in Washington County, Oregon. He got arrested in Florida in 2024 for driving without a license, but was released back onto the streets because the Biden administration refused to take custody of him, and Oregon officials refused to extradite him. No, nothing. Radio silence from the congressional rep on that. Weird. What a weird turn of events. So stunning, so brave. Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari, she also took the trip for the social media clicks and the clout for the Democrat Party, and she had this to say.
Hi everyone, this is Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari. After a long day, we have arrived in El Salvador. I am here with several of my colleagues to demand that Donald Trump release Kilmar Abrego Garcia, union member, Maryland man who was wrongfully detained and deported, has never been convicted of a crime, and who the United States Supreme Court has ruled 9-0 unanimously the United States must facilitate his return. Last night, I had a town hall in my district where a woman came and said her son, who is Salvadoran, they are scared to travel this summer because what if what happened to Kilmar Garcia happens to them?
Oh, so sad. So sad. I wonder if at the town hall last night, Rep. Yasemin Ansari, who's from Arizona, she represents Arizona's 3rd congressional district. I wonder if at the town hall, if any of the citizens asked them about the illegal alien crime that they're dealing with in Phoenix and in the Arizona area, like this case. Bonifacio Renteria Cruz, 48-year-old citizen of Mexico. He was arrested in Phoenix. He has ties to the Sinaloa cartel and has convictions for aggravated assault and weapons charges. He also has an active arrest warrant for homicide in Mexico. So while your citizens are scared that the U.S. might deport them, I wonder how they feel about these criminals that are being allowed to roam around the streets in your region. How about Jose Escobar Robles, citizen of Mexico? Also arrested in Phoenix. He's believed to be illegally funneling money to Mexico to benefit violent cartels engaged in drug smuggling and human trafficking. Or how about this case? Luis Garcia Sanchez, also a citizen of Mexico, arrested in Phoenix, Arizona. He's connected to the notorious 18th Street Gang and has been wanted for felony narcotics charges dating back to 1987. Your feigning of outrage means nothing to me. Nothing. Your boos mean nothing because we've seen what makes you cheer. You can talk about the fear that your constituents have, and they're bringing up to you at this town hall meeting, but I wonder how they feel about these criminals that are just roaming the streets. No comment? No comment. Weird. What a coincidence. How do the people in Maryland feel about all this? Has anybody asked the people in Maryland how they feel about this? Actually, Jesse Waters did, and he sent one of his street reporters last night to ask Maryland citizens how they feel about the Maryland man.
He was living in Maryland, designated MS-13 terrorist, and Donald Trump deported him. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel?
I feel safer.
He gotta go. He gotta go.
Need to go. I mean, that's it.
But he was a father.
But he's still a terrorist.
Nailed it.
Okay. I mean, but there's children living without fathers now.
He should have picked and choose, so he picked to be a terrorist instead of worrying about his children.
The Democrats, they want him back. They say he was wrongfully deported. He has a wife and a kid who's a citizen. They're calling this a national emergency. Is this a national emergency?
I wouldn't call it a national emergency. We got more things going on. We have more things, more fish to fry.
I just found out about it, so I don't think so. What kind of national emergency? For what? What is the emergency for?
Ain't no national emergency, no.
He was accused of hitting his wife twice and was a suspected human smuggler. Was he wrongfully deported?
No.
No. I mean, these are actually Maryland men and women, not the Salvadoran variety of Maryland man. This is just like the actual Maryland man and woman, and they don't seem to want Kilmar back. Definitely not as much as Senator Van Hollen wants Kilmar back. Definitely not as much as the Democrat Party wants Kilmar back. And you wonder why the Democrat approval rating is plummeting, because this is the battle they're choosing to fight. It's embarrassing. I mean, this continues. This keeps going.
He need to go.
If he's a smuggler, yeah, he needs to be deported.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Amen.
Your senator here, Chris Van Hollen, he flew to El Salvador where this guy was deported. He met with them, had lunch with them, had margaritas on the table. What's up with your senator?
I have no idea, but I do believe that was a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Facts.
Margaritas.
You agreeing with somebody whipping their wife, terrorizing where you live, then you don't need to live here either.
Yep. Hey, listen, if you're gonna defend somebody who's whooping on their wife, terrorizing where they live, maybe you don't deserve to live in Maryland either, Senator Van Hollen. These are your constituents. They don't seem too impressed with your theatrics.
Because Van Hollen, you need to come see me, Mr. Coley, because you doing like that. You need to take care of home before you go to other states.
That's true. That's true.
He went to El Salvador.
Oh, that's another country. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's even worse. It's even worse. We would have been upset if you went to Connecticut, says the actual Maryland man. But you went to El Salvador? Even worse.
What has Senator Chris Van Hollen ever done for you?
It's a good question.
Nothing.
Oh, that's an honest answer.
Nothing.
For me, nothing.
Nothing that I know of.
He ain't do me. I can admit that.
I've never even heard of this person.
Do you?
I like that guy. That guy's my favorite out of all this cast of characters. I never even heard of him, actually. Who? Who? To be fair, he thought he went to a different state too.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
But it turns out that the citizens of Maryland don't want Kilmar back. He's one of your own, though. He's a Maryland man. Haven't you heard? He's a father. Where's your heart? Where's your heart? You know, and while these individuals don't want the Maryland man back, you can actually find actual reasons why you wouldn't want these kind of individuals in your city, region, state. And it's because this crime just keeps happening and happening and happening. We had another story out of Maryland just yesterday broke. Post Millennial has it. An illegal immigrant and his uncle have been charged with the murder of a 23-year-old mother in Maryland after her body was found in the forest. The body was found in the same county where Kilmar Abrego Garcia lived before being deported by the Trump administration. The body of Lesbia Milith Ramirez Guerrera, 23, was found just outside of Cedarville State Forest in Prince George's County. 24-year-old Kesey Robinson Alexi Barrera Rosa has been charged with murder in the case. Rosa's uncle, 37-year-old Rolvin Eduardo Barrera, has been charged with being an accessory to murder. Has Senator Van Hollen said anything about this latest victim of illegal alien crime in his state? Is Senator Van Hollen going to reach out to this family of illegal alien crime in his state? No, he's not. He didn't say anything, and he's not going to reach. If he wouldn't reach out to Patty Marin, Rachel Marin's mother, then no, he's not going to reach out to these individuals either. Of course not. It's America last. It's American citizens last. Mike in Nashville has been waiting on the line for a minute. Mike, I appreciate you holding. He's got a comment on Senator Van Hollen. What's up, Mike?
Okay, yeah, how you doing, Chris? Yeah, I got you. Good thing you got your internet back on again. I'm looking at you on YouTube.
You like my outfit?
Good show going.
You like the shirt, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
It's clean.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt. Yeah, it's a nice shirt you got on. I know who got all the money at the radio station now.
So much, man. What's your comment on Van Hollen, brother?
Hey, listen, man. This is disgusting, Chris. This is the reason why, come 2026, they can't let the Democrats get back in. They can't let these people win, because this is what they want to do, and this is what it's obvious that these people have their minds on getting these immigrants in the U.S. It's just totally disgusting that you would have a politician go down to El Salvador and sit down at a table and have margaritas and drinks with a gang member. Like you said last week, the guy has MS-13 on his knuckles, on his fingers.
Yep.
And these idiots still have the nerve and the audacity to say that this man is not a gang member. He has been, besides that, he was already in the country illegally when he's already been scheduled to be deported 2 times before that. This guy here is a scumbag, and the people that are in El Salvador trying to get him back to the U.S. are even worse than him, because they call themselves an American, but they're not Americans. These are what you call turncoats, Chris. This is one of, I thought Joe Biden had stooped to all-time lows. We talked about Biden. Even Joe Biden has stooped this low. Even Joe Biden didn't go down. He let the people in the country, but you didn't see Joe Biden go down to El Salvador and try to bring a man back with him. This senator has even stooped even lower than Joe Biden, if that's possible. And it's really disgusting. And I think I heard one of those politicians say yesterday that they're not coming back to the U.S. until they get this man free. Well, I got news for you. Don't come back, because we don't want you back in the U.S. Stay down there in El Salvador.
Yeah, Mike,
we don't want you back.
That might actually be a net positive, Mike, if they don't come back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't come back, because we don't want you to come back. Stay down there in El Salvador with that criminal that you're trying to represent. And I thank you for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the call as always. That's Mike in Nashville. He's a good guy. We like Mike. Mike always breaks it down and brings the truth. Mike, call anytime, man. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Stephen Miller joined the conversation yesterday on Fox News, talking about the Supreme Court's decision, talking about how these courts are getting in the way of the Trump agenda, and he talks about the double standard on how foreign criminals are getting luxury treatment, yet American citizens are getting steamrolled. I'll bring you these clips from Stephen Miller when we get back. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. One of our favorite events of the year is coming up. The Glock Store's 5th annual open house is happening Saturday, May 31st. Every single year, the Glock Store opens its doors. They bring in the top vendors from across the industry. They invite all of Nashville out for a day of great deals and even better company. And this year is shaping up to be the best open house yet, including unbeatable prices on Burrow bullets. I love the Burrow bullets. Whether you need 9mm, 223, they'll have 50-round boxes, 250-round bullet bags, and even 1,000-round tac packs at the lowest prices ever. Now, the truth is, the most important thing about being a safe and responsible gun owner is training. But even more truth, you can't train without the ammo. So save the date, save some money on ammo. Saturday, May 31st. Make that trip, stock up, and don't forget to come by and say hi to the entire WTN crew. The Glock Store's 5th annual open house, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Another base commander loses her job. We'll tell you what she did. Got the attention of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. That's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, Betterwater.com. So we played that clip from Jesse Waters with the Maryland residents, and they were not exactly excited about bringing back Kilmar. Sally says, so your favorite person out of that whole interview, all those interviewed, was the guy who does not know who his senator is? Seriously? This is why we never get the good officials elected. I don't even know who he even is. So it was a joke. I thought it was funny. Sorry for making you upset.
It's trying to be light on some parts of the situation.
We're trying to have fun.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't joke around ever? You ready for this radio segue?
Oh yeah.
Stephen Miller.
True.
I've never actually seen him crack a joke or smile.
Dude's serious all the time.
He's usually very, very angry. He was very angry yesterday on Newsmax when he was talking about the recent Supreme Court rulings.
You have, in this case, illegal aliens from Venezuela sent here by Maduro who are members of a foreign terrorist organization, Tren de Aragua, an organization that the intelligence community has found is operating at the direction of a hostile, adversarial foreign regime carrying out criminal enterprises to destabilize the political system in the United States. Those are the facts when it comes to TDA. So they're all illegal, they're all gang members, they're all foreign terrorists. And now we are being told that they cannot be expelled from our country without an extraordinary amount of individualized adjudication at the district court, circuit court, Supreme Court, up and down, up and down, up and down. No American citizen receives this level of so-called due process. Because it isn't due process. This is called infinity process to keep you here forever.
Yeah. Stephen Miller.
Pretty effective, huh?
Dropping bombs.
Yeah.
I got more from Stephen Miller when we get back. He went through the Supreme Court decisions. He went through how illegal aliens are being treated better than American citizens. And he even tackled the topic of birthright citizenship. All that and more on the way right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Delays are starting to ease off in I-40, the eastbound side at Old Hickory Boulevard West in Bellevue. That's where there was a crash involving 3 cars. That crash is now off to the shoulder. As the case of Kilmar Abrega Garcia continues to work its way through the federal courts, the Trump administration is doubling down on its assertion that MS-13 gangbanger isn't coming back to the U.S.
The administration's border czar, Tom Homan, said on ABC that they are standing by their process and policy on this, that they did the right thing in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Tom Homan said that they did the right thing. They removed a public safety threat. He called him a national security threat and a violent gang member, something that his lawyer and his family deny.
ABC's Karen Travers. The commander of a Wisconsin Army base is out of a job today. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announcing on X that Colonel Shayla Baez Ramirez was suspended as garrison commander at Fort McCoy after it was found that photos of President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were not displayed on a chain of command board. In fact, that wall contained empty frames for the 3 leaders. The colonel's removal comes after the Pentagon fired another base commander in Greenland after she undermined Vance. When Tennesseans go to vote in 2026, they'll be asked to approve an amendment aimed at cutting down on crime. It just passed the State House yesterday. Here's Channel 4's Stacey Cameron.
It only needed a 2/3 vote to pass the House. The proposed amendment cleared that hurdle easily with bipartisan support with a vote of 84 to 10. Now, if it becomes part part of our state constitution, judges will have the discretion to deny bail to suspected violent criminals, and in those cases, the judge will have to put in writing why they granted or denied bond.
The Senate's already approved that. Now, Republicans say data shows 12% of Tennessee crimes are committed by people who are out on bail. Tennessee graduating high schoolers have a chance to get their real estate license for free. This program open now for applicants. There are a few requirements, though, that include that students must be 18 and able to prove that they've graduated in order to take the course. There are some other requirements, too. You can check them out and apply at the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance website. Quite a rebound on Wall Street today. We've got the Dow Jones Industrials up 803 right now. The Nasdaq gaining 364. S&P is up 107. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app, or the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, back up and running after some technical issues this morning. Our engineering staff got it together, and we're live now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, since we started late, we're going to need extra likes today if you want to send the kids to summer camp.
Oh, absolutely.
Just letting you know. We're operating from a deficit. So hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it when you do. And it's free for you to do, and it could lead to my kids going to a summer camp instead of a work camp. That's really up to you.
They will be very appreciative.
Yep. But
just saying.
This is the right age for a work camp, too. Builds character. They still got teeny tiny little hands. They can make some good stuff. So
every time.
We're open for it. It's like, hard times make strong men. That's what I tell them. Dude, just toughen up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Dad, I don't want to go back to the camp. They're hitting us. Like, well. We didn't get enough likes.
Better.
Stephen Miller yesterday on Newsmax. Stephen Miller, full disclosure, one of my favorites, Homeland Security Advisor for the Trump administration. I'm looking on the text line, and I see that he is some of your favorites as well. 615-737-9986 if you want to weigh in on the text line. We appreciate when you do. Phone line, same number. Feel free to call in. But Stephen Miller was talking about what the Trump administration is up against and how they're dealing with all of these different issues at all of these different levels in the courts.
You have, in this case, illegal aliens from Venezuela sent here by Maduro who are members of a foreign terrorist organization, Tren de Aragua, an organization that the intelligence community has found is operating at the direction of a hostile, adversarial foreign regime carrying out criminal enterprises to destabilize the political system in the United States. Those are the facts when it comes to TDA. So they're all illegal, they're all gang members, they're all foreign terrorists. And now we are being told that they cannot be expelled from our country without an extraordinary amount of individualized adjudication at the district court, circuit court, Supreme Court, up and down, up and down, up and down. No American citizen receives this level of so-called due process. Because it isn't due process. This is called infinity process to keep you here forever.
Yeah. I love Stephen Miller. He's so calm, right? He's so calm. He's so calculated, and he makes so much sense. This isn't due process. This is infinity process. This isn't the same kind of treatment your average American citizen would get. And to all the Democrats screaming and crying and feigning outrage over due process, I would just like to remind you that J6 political prisoners sat in jail cells and rotted away for years without their due process, and we didn't hear a damn word from the Democrats. Not one. Not one Democrat was on TV saying, hey, well, it's not about the person or the crime. It's about the Constitution. It's about due process. No. That outrage is reserved for MS-13 gang members. That outrage is reserved for TDA gang terrorist affiliated people. That outrage is for illegal aliens, right? My due process. Miss me with it.
That's what this is.
Oh no, it's crazy.
No American citizen charged with a crime, with a serious crime inside the United States, a U.S.-born American citizen receives this kind of process. Millions of dollars in free legal services, representation at every single level. I mean, do you think that there is any, for example, any American citizen who was persecuted, who was innocent related to January 6th? Do you think they could just get this kind of relief, this kind of process?
Nope.
It was never available to them.
Yeah.
The whole system was rigged against them, just like it's rigged in favor of illegal alien invaders.
My due process. Somebody, please, my due process. Again, American citizens didn't receive this type of care from the Democrat Party. You're seeing the Democrats now pivot away from, we're not defending or vouching for Kilmar the man. We're defending and vouching for the idea and for the Constitution, and this is a crisis, and Donald Trump created chaos, and we're standing in the way. It could happen to you next. On MSNBC, you know what this is going to lead to? This is going to lead to them going after black Americans. It's like, come on. Stop it. Sound ridiculous. But the reality is that there's a double standard in this country. That's been laid out as clear as the day is long. There's a double standard. And I'm sorry, if you happen to be an American citizen, well, you don't get the benefit of that double standard. It's reserved for the illegal aliens. Now, Stephen Miller highlighted this double standard during this Newsmax interview, and he's not happy about the double standard. I think that's the nicest way to put it. He's not pleased. He's not impressed. Not satisfied with the double standard, but he makes the point the double standard's there.
I can tell you who won't be hearing your case is the Supreme Court.
Right.
Do you have any idea
exactly.
how many criminal defendants, American citizens, who, by the way, have maybe committed crimes that aren't even that serious, but who risk the loss of reputation, the loss of all their money, who risk the loss of their family, the loss of their freedom. Again, we saw this throughout the last 4 years.
Yes.
Who are not able to get anything close to even a fraction of the judicial interference that illegal alien gang members receive.
Yeah.
How many pressing constitutional issues have been swept aside that American citizens need resolved?
Right.
Who are being persecuted by left-wing mayors, left-wing governors, left-wing bureaucrats who actually need relief? How many of their concerns have been swept aside so our entire judicial system can spend hour after hour, week after week, month after month scrutinizing every single last detail of a deportation of an invader sent here by a foreign government?
Where's the lie? Where's the lie from Stephen Miller? The Democrats will dispute this. The Democrats will argue against this. The Democrats will call Stephen Miller a Nazi. Right? That's what they'll do. He's a racist bigot. His opinions should be discarded. And the only time you hear Stephen Miller speak these truths is on conservative outlets, because when they do invite him on the liberal outlets, he makes them look dumb and he doesn't get invited back. He didn't just talk about the courts or the double standard. He also highlighted the big issue that it is going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to have to decide this, the issue of birthright citizenship.
Birthright citizenship is the biggest, costliest scam in financial history. An illegal alien can come here 9 months pregnant or on a tourist visa, 9 months pregnant, have a baby. That baby is then declared an automatic citizen, which then entitles the entire family to come here and live here. And every one of them can get welfare. Yes, they can get unlimited welfare applying as the custodian of this citizen, so-called child.
This is birther tourism, right? Like we've seen this so many different times, and it's been laid out so many different ways. But no, I'm not a fan of birthright citizenship, and I do believe, if it's argued correctly with the Supreme Court, that birthright citizenship is going to go away. However, there are some big question marks and some red flags, and I'm looking at you, Amy Coney Barrett. But this issue needs to be handled. It was never designed for the birther tourism that Stephen Miller is describing. It was never designed to then be a gateway to your entire family and access to the American benefit system and welfare and everything that these illegal aliens get. That was not the plan. Not one bit the plan. It was for freed slaves. It was for freed slaves. Not El Salvador and Maryland men, freed slaves. It wasn't for the woman who's coming over 9 months pregnant, paying cartels to sneak her across the border so that way she could have a child here in America and then stay. It wasn't for anchor babies. That was never what it was designed for.
The biggest financial ripoff of Americans in history, not to mention the fact that it is the #1 magnet for illegal immigration and invasion, and that is used by foreign governments to conduct espionage against the United States. Because now, see, we can keep out a foreign spy who has a visa, who's trying to get permission to board an airplane. But what happens when a foreign government uses this ridiculous birthright scam in order to create automatic citizens who then grow up as assets of a foreign government?
Looking at you, China. Anybody else thinking about China when you hear that? Yeah, China.
China.
One more time.
China.
Yeah. Anybody else?
China.
I mean, let's be honest.
China.
That's where my mind went. Why wouldn't a foreign government take advantage of that? I would want our government to take advantage of that. Wouldn't you want that? Like, yeah, it makes sense. But it makes too much sense. So gotta let it keep happening. Is that what that's what we're gonna go with? Yeah, you made a good point. We're gonna rule against you. I think that this is actually a very, very strong argument against birthright citizenship, and one that I hope is made in front of the Supreme Court.
So it's a major national security threat. The 14th Amendment, the provisions in question were ratified for the children of freed slaves.
Thank you.
You can go read the minutes of the debate. They were talking about the children of freed slaves after the Civil War.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
The idea that this was meant
yes.
to provide illegal alien children with automatic citizenship. Do you really think that in the 19th century, 3/4 of states all got together to pass an amendment to say that people that Congress has forbidden from entering here can have automatic children citizens? I mean, the idea is so far beyond even the outer limits of imagination. No human being who suggests it should be taken seriously.
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. And many on the left do suggest that we don't take them seriously. Stephen Miller just absolutely dropping bombs in this Newsmax interview. And Stephen Miller absolutely correct in this Newsmax interview. But, you know, the left will say my due process. The left will scream and they'll feign outrage. Donald Trump posted a message about the Supreme Court yesterday on True Social saying, I'm doing what I was elected to do, remove criminals from our country, but the courts don't want me to do that. My team is fantastic, doing an incredible job. However, they're being stymied at every turn by even the U.S. Supreme Court, which I have great respect for, but which seemingly doesn't want me to send violent criminals and terrorists back to Venezuela or any other country for that matter, people that came here illegally. The courts are intimidated by the radical left who are playing the ref. Great Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito correctly wants to dissolve the pause on deportations. He is right on this. If we don't get these criminals out of our country, we're not going to have a country any longer. We cannot give everyone a trial because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years. We would need hundreds of thousands of trials for the hundreds of thousands of illegals we are sending out of the country. Such a thing is not possible to do. What a ridiculous situation we're in. Make America great again. Yeah, it is. It's a ridiculous situation we're in. And I think it's important to point out that as Joe Biden and the Democrats were letting in millions upon millions of illegal aliens, they didn't get the vetting that they want when we send them out of the country. They didn't. Bill Malugin was posting about this yesterday. And he says, listen, for 3+ years, situations like this one played out every single day. And he attached a clip of him doing some reporting from 2023. And I think it's important to play. Remember what was happening in 2023 not just 2023, for 3+ years under the Biden administration.
Dana, good morning to you. Here in Lukeville, we are quite literally in the middle of nowhere. 2.5 hours to the closest major city. Thousands are crossing here illegally every day, and the situation is completely unsustainable.
And you look behind him. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see the video in conjunction with the audio. You look behind him, and it's just hordes of men from all over the world, all over the globe. Bill Malugin posted this video. It said, a reminder, scenes like this played out every day all over the border for 3+ years. Border Patrol was so overwhelmed that masses of foreign men around the planet were routinely released on street corners with little to no vetting, if they even had ID. Little to no vetting. Yet on the way out, we need the most due process that we could ever have, period. The due process that wasn't afforded to Americans who are caught up in the J6 stuff, right? Is that what we're supposed to do? Once again, the Democrats highlighting that these illegal aliens are just a step above you. It's 1021 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're living with back pain, knee pain, or nerve pain, stop what you're doing and listen. Please do it for yourself. The Wellness Institute of Nashville wants to change your life with non-surgical, drug-free treatments that will target the root cause of your pain. So you can forget the pills, you can skip the surgery, because these guys specialize in spinal decompression. This is a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and nerves naturally. Now, Dr. Mitchell, He's trained all over the globe. Dr. Ashley is an expert in holistic healing and advanced chiropractic care. So whether it's sciatica, neuropathy, herniated discs, these guys have real solutions. And right now, for a limited time, you can get that spinal decompression for 47% off. The big 47 deal is going on now in honor of the 47th president. He didn't give up on you, so the Wellness Institute of Nashville is not going to give up on you either. 47% off that spinal decompression. Don't waste another day living in pain. Call these guys today and get back to pain-free life. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com.
Petroleum-based food dyes are being phased out of our food supply, and the foreign company that has announced a $50 billion investment in the U.S. Those stories coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Do me a favor. Find me on Truth Social, Instagram, or Twitter. I still hate calling it X. I know you're supposed to, but I don't want to. Find me on those social media platforms at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Hit the follow button at Chris Hand on Air. Do it, please. And hit like and subscribe on YouTube, too. All right, I have a list of things that I need you to do.
Just a couple things.
Just a few of them. But we'll always be here for you. That's what I can do in return. All right, so we do have a lot more to cover. We're doing the illegal immigration stuff. Stephen Miller essentially dunked on that one. I don't know how much more we need to cover on it. However, Pete Hegseth has been under fire. Have you been following this? Signal Gate 2.0?
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo? That's, the Boogaloo's electric. So it all stems from an NPR article, and they say that there was another Signal chat that Hegseth was leaking classified info to. And in this Signal chat, his wife and his brother-in-law were in it, or was it just his brother? I don't even care because it's fake news. I'll be perfectly honest with you. the entire thing just feels like fake news. They didn't have any receipts. There were no journalists from The Atlantic added to this chat. It was just unnamed sources familiar with the incident. Well, Pete Hegseth went on Fox and Friends this morning. And he was talking with Brian Kilmeade, and I don't know. I don't know what you think about Brian Kilmeade. I don't think about it often. But he's talking with Brian Kilmeade, and he says this is just another fake news hoax.
You remember when this all started, the first go-around, because this is the second go-around, right? They peddle old stuff, they kick it back up. I said repeatedly, no one's texting war plans. You know why I said that? Because I'm in the bowels of the Pentagon every single day. Just 10 minutes ago, I was looking at actual war plans of things that were ongoing or pending things to happen. Because that's on a regular basis on classified systems. That's my job for the war fighters, for the President of the United States. I look at war plans every single day. What was shared over Signal, then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning. At the beginning, it was left-wing reporters from The Atlantic who got a hold of it and then wanted to create a problem for the president. This is what it's all about, trying to get at President Trump and his agenda. Now, here at the Defense Department, because, Brian, I want this to be very clear, we take the classification of information very important. It's very significant to us that we safeguard it. And so when we had leaks, which we have had here, we did a serious leak investigation. And through that leak investigation, unfortunately, we found some folks that we believe were not holding to the protocols that we hold dear here at the Defense Department. Through that investigation, they have been moved on, and that investigation continues. As a result of that, everything we do here is above board, trying to make sure that we safeguard information. In this point, those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building, are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing. And that's unfortunate. It's not what I do. It's not how we operate. And so you've got another allegation being pushed again, not based on how we're operating around here. We're for the warfighters. We're for the president. And none of this is based in reality.
Not based in reality, says Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Fired guys are now leaking, and they're upset. They're disgruntled employees. I felt this way a lot during the first Trump administration, and I'm starting to feel this way again. Imagine how much we could be getting done if we didn't have to deal with all of this other BS. Imagine where we'd be if we didn't have to deal with the courts, if we didn't have to deal with the leakers, if we didn't have to deal with the media going after Donald Trump and his administration at the whim of every fake news hoax. Imagine that. I think we'd be getting a lot more done. Just me. Hey, I want to talk about this Kanye tweet that he sent out. This Kanye tweet is a doozy. Did you see it yet? Did you look it up?
No, I've been holding off. I wanted to show the shock on the stream.
Okay, perfect.
For the show.
You will be shocked.
On the station.
If you pay attention to the conversation online, you may already be up to speed on this, but there's a much larger conversation that it creates. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.10:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Put this one on your calendar. FDA Commissioner Marty Makary is holding a press conference this afternoon. He'll detail the move to phase out the remaining 8 artificial food dyes, ones that are petroleum-based from America's food supply, announced by RFK Jr. yesterday. These are dyes that are currently used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. The press conference starts at 3 p.m. Central Time. It's National Work Zone Awareness Week. You may have seen the overhead signs from TDOT.
When you see anyone working on a roadway, whether it's law enforcement, a help truck, a tow truck, or a full-blown work zone, please stay off your phone, slow down, and move your vehicle away from the worker if you can safely do so.
You'll see a lot of work on the roads now that the weather has broken. So far this year, there have been 35 incidents in which drivers have crashed into TDOT equipment. The same caution could be extended to police officers. On I-40 in Mount Juliet yesterday, a distracted driver crashed into an officer's car on the shoulder as that officer was conducting a traffic stop. The driver told police he was reading a prescription bottle at the time of the crash. crash. Nobody was hurt. An investment in the U.S. from a major drug maker.
As the Trump administration works to get companies to invest more in the United States, Swiss pharmaceuticals powerhouse Roche says it will spend $50 billion in the U.S. over the next 5 years on high-tech research and development sites, as well as manufacturing facilities that could create as many as 12,000 jobs. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. And listen, if you're tired of sky-high health insurance costs, listen up. Shane has actually a new product, a brand new option that could change the game for you when it comes to health insurance. Now, there's a new plan on the market that will bring your deductible down to just $250. That's right, not $5,000, not $8,000. Only $250. And the best part is you don't even have to wait for open enrollment to start saving money. Shane can help you switch or save money right now. See, Shane's been doing this for over 20 years. He's going to shop the entire market, over 75 companies, to find the best fit for your budget and health needs. Now, whether you're self-employed, between jobs, or you're just plain old overpaying for coverage, Shane can be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. So stop overpaying and call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. Or you can always hit covernash.com. I'm a phone call guy. I think that works better. 615-465-0023 to talk to Shane. Affordable quality coverage managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
It's 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I caught this story last night. Daily Mail had it, and the internet had been talking about it. I didn't see it happen live. I don't follow Kanye. Do you follow Kanye on X, on your burner account?
No, I, one, don't have X, but two.
Actually, do I follow Kanye?
My brothers and I followed him on Instagram for a while and stopped after.
Yeah, I don't know if I follow him or not. A lot of times
year.
he's just like, I think his account's banned again. Is it banned
I wouldn't
again?
be surprised. Or I heard rumor like in like December or January it got like suspended at least.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Dude's all over the place.
Yo, he's having a tough go.
On his second divorce.
So
posting a lot of random stuff that
So you didn't see the latest post?
No, I have not.
Okay, so he put out a song called Cousin.
Yeah, I did see that. I haven't listened to it, but I knew it was coming out and I just was like, And
he posted a description about the song Cousin.
Oh no.
Where he claims childhood incest trauma is the reason why he acts out. Childhood incest trauma. Now he didn't put it as nicely as that.
Yeah.
He posted this. This song is called Cousin, about my cousin that's locked up in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt like it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I blanked my cousin's blank till I was 14. Ho, ho, ho. So he's saying that he performed oral sex on his cousin until he was 14. I don't know the age differences between these cousins.
Yeah, he says that his cousin was younger than him.
His cousin was younger than him. And he said that he performed oral sex on him until he was 14. Now, I think that this is going to lead to a bigger conversation about pornography. But I think the first thing that my mind went to is this an attempt by Kanye West to get the music industry to forgive him for the anti-Semitic things and turn him into this heroic victim instead of a Nazi? That's one thought. Another thought that I had, and maybe this is just me, was somebody going to leak this on him? Did somebody have access to this information and they were going to leak it, so he decided to get out in front of it because he didn't want to be blackmailed by whoever had this information? So I don't think that's way off the realm of possibility.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. It makes me question. He went through the whole process of making a song about it as well. At least he's saying that's what the song's about.
So, yeah. So, it's crazy. But one of the bigger issues here, Kanye West aside, is the impact of pornography on our kids. And I think that that's a real conversation to have, Kanye West aside. Now, Kanye has been open about the impact of pornography on his life multiple times in different interviews.
Playboy was my gateway into full-on pornography addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5, and it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life, from age 5 to now having to kick the habit. And it just presents itself in the open, like it's okay. And I stand up and say, you know, it's not okay.
So he's talked about this before, the pornography addiction, and I think that this is something that a lot of guys are suffering with silently, right? Like let's be honest. And I'm not here to throw throw stones in a glass house or anything of that nature. Now, I'm not here to judge or anything like that. But can we talk about the impacts of pornography on our society for a little bit? Can we have a larger conversation about the impacts of pornography? Like, I could go full Bible thumper and I could go full Matthew 5:28 if I wanted to. But I think that argument turns off a lot of non-Christians. And while I like to speak to the Christian audience, I think speaking to the larger audience, I think that you can make the case against pornography without bringing in spirituality or the Bible or any other literature, religious literature that you read. I think that you can make the case against it. And there's been so many studies done on pornography and what it does. It completely messes with your brain. You understand this, right? Like, it hits the same dopamine receptors that cocaine hits. And the American Psychological Association says that porn use can lead to compulsive behaviors, and that is similar to substance addiction. It absolutely increases your depression and your anxiety. 2017 study published in Human Communication Research found higher porn consumption correlates with lower relationship satisfaction, depression, and loneliness. It rips apart families. Like, it just does. You can look at a 2016 study out of the Journal of Sex Research. This study found that porn use is linked to lower sexual satisfaction and decreased commitment in relationships. Another 2016 study said that if you're using porn a lot, you're doubling your chances of divorce. That's from a 2016 study by the Institute for Family Studies. Twice as likely to divorce compared to those who don't use porn. And then, as many guys will they probably won't tell you, but let's be perfectly honest, you're hiding it from your wife, right? Like, a good majority of you are. And then you deal with the erosion of trust. You deal with the lies. You deal with all that BS too. So it's not good. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your head. And then if you zoom out a little bit more, you can make the case that the porn industry fuels sex trafficking. And multiple law enforcement investigations have claimed this exactly. Major sites, Pornhub, MindGeek, etc., they've been linked. These major porn platforms have been linked to non-consensual sex, non-consensual content, and sex trafficking victims. So you're creating a marketplace for that. Currently, right now, they say that the age most kids are exposed to porn is 11. Now some studies have that age even younger. But I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I don't want her exposed to this garbage. Do you want your kids and grandkids exposed to this garbage? I mean, it's everywhere. It's free. Like, it's crazy. I think personally, I'm for age verification on sites, and people will get into, well, it's free speech, and it's like, yeah, but even back when we had the old family-run movie rental spot, the dirty movies were behind a corner, behind a curtain in the corner, and you weren't allowed to go look at them if you were a kid. You had to be the right age. It's not limiting free speech, protecting our youth. But it's gotten to the point where it's so bad, the porn addiction in this country, that something like 28% of employees are even using porn on company time. 28%, 1 in 4. 1 in 4. It's insane. It's insane. Zoom more out. Let's zoom out even more. Our enemies love that the men of this country are addicted to porn. Do you know that? Have you ever put any thought to this? Your enemies love it. They love it because a morally, spiritually, physically weak population is going to be easier to control. A society that's addicted to instant gratification is way less likely to organize, resist, or fight for long-term ideals. Nations that protect their young from porn, you can argue that they have higher social stability compared to countries in the West. You can. And this is a tactic. This is like a tale as old as time. The porn explosion really began in Weimar, Germany. And you can make the argument that post-World War I Berlin, becoming the world's largest porn capital with their legal prostitution, with their sex clubs, with their child prostitution, really eroded the moral society of that, the moral fabric of that society, and left them in a vulnerable position for totalitarian takeover. You can make the argument. During World War II, the Allies were porn bombing Nazi soldiers. Have you ever heard this? When the Germans were in trenches, the British and the Americans would airdrop pornographic leaflets and magazines over their trenches because they wanted to distract them. They wanted to erode morale. They wanted to weaken combat focus. And they did that through lust and homesickness. They porn bombed them. This isn't stuff that they talk about in school. Porn is a weapon. It's an absolute weapon. Have you ever seen Yuri Bezmenov? Have you seen Yuri Bezmenov? He's a KGB defector and did these long interviews on TV. But it's like late 80s. It's fascinating to watch. Yuri, KGB defector. I highly recommend that you look him up on YouTube. But he said that one of the plans of Soviet Russia was to promote moral decay, including pornographic art, literature, and media into Western society. And the purpose of that was to break down family structure, faith, and patriotism, making nations easier to control. And that was in the 50s to the 80s. So I would just ask the question, has the family structure, faith, and patriotism broken down since the 50s to 80s? Yes. Yes, it has. There's modern day examples of this too. It's not like a bygone relic. In 2002, during a military operation, Israeli troops seized control of 3 Palestinian television stations in Ramallah, and they reportedly began broadcasting porn over these channels, which it was psychological warfare. It was deeply offensive to the predominantly Muslim community. Residents were outraged, and they viewed it as a deliberate attempt to humiliate and demoralize the population. I think we have to have an honest conversation about porn and the effects that it has on societies. Many societies ban it outright. China bans porn for its citizens, and they want to protect their youth and let the foreign countries deal with the struggle of the addiction to the porn, the moral decay, the family breakdown. Does it make us a stronger society? Again, like I don't want to come off as judgy, and I don't want to come off as throwing stones in a glass house. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've never seen porn. I wouldn't do that to you. I think that's just it's a ridiculous statement. I think the overwhelming majority of men in this country have seen porn. But I don't know how many people think about the effects that it has on individuals and societies. And so when I saw that tweet from Kanye West today, last night I saw it, where he was talking about his porn addiction and what that led to him doing, man, it's kind of heartbreaking to a certain extent. It is, because I think that while Kanye is very high profile and putting this out there for whatever reason he may be, and again, I'm not sure the reason why he put this out. Is he trying to become a victim to get away from the Nazi stuff? Is he trying to get away from some blackmail stuff? Was this going to be released anyway? Who knows? Who knows what his motivations are? But I can guarantee you there's a lot of Americans with similar stories to that. And the root cause of it is the easy access to pornography in this country. It is far too easy to get your hands on. Far too easy. And it's messing with kids.
And one of the cooler bills that Trump passed that helps cancel some of that stuff out is it's no longer like, from what I've seen, people posting about it, complaining about it on Instagram, Pornhub's not available right now in our state.
Yep.
In like a majority of the South, it is not available.
Yep.
You have to use VPNs and pay a bunch of money to be able to access those stupid sites.
And that's a good thing.
I think that's huge. And I think it's a push in the way correct direction, for sure.
We need to correct this.
Yeah.
We really do. the over sexualization and the outright pornography that has just been pumped into just about every facet of society. It's like it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And it's going to be on guys, right? Like it's crazy to me too, because like the OnlyFans girls and the porn star girls, they're stunning and brave. But the users are creepy men. And there is a stigmatization about that. But I think that there's a lot of guys out there that just need some help combating this. I don't even know where to begin. I would suggest you get into a good church. I know that's not going to be for everybody. That's still going to be my suggestion.
Accountability from friends.
Accountability from friends.
One.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that it's an absolute issue, and it's been used as a weapon for decades. So is it being used as a weapon now? I think you could make the argument that it is. It's 10:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Spring is here, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, man, they're bringing the savings for you. Right now, you can cash in on some serious rebates. We've been telling you about these for a while, but you really do need to take advantage of it. $800 back on a mini split or 17-SEER heat pump. $500 back on a 15 or 16-SEER heat pump. $300 back for duct sealing or repair, and $50 back for each tune-up you schedule. Now, here's the smart play. You ready for this? You join the Beehive Club. You get your spring rebate, you get your spring tune-up, and then you get a $50 rebate. Then when fall rolls around, you get another $50 rebate for that tune-up. That's $100 back, which will cover your Beehive Club membership for the year. And Busy Bee is going to make it so easy for you, man. You don't even have to fill out the paperwork. They'll handle it for you. Members of the Beehive Club also get 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, no overtime or holiday fees, and a $100 annual accrued replacement credit, maxing out at about $1,000. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're good guys. We love them. Give them a call today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. They're online too, busybeehvac.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All ears and eyes on Secretary of Health and Human Services RFK Jr. today, expected to call for the phase-out of 8 dyes in our food supply. This story and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 1058 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So I'm reading some of these messages in the text line and the YouTube chat. Our guy Mark on the YouTube chat didn't like my take on pornography. He said, so, Chris, do I need your permission to have a beer, smoke a cigarette, and God forbid at 62 smoke a joint? Mr. Moral Police Officer, how did I make it this far without your guidance? Pretty sure I'm old enough to be your father. Well, my friend, if you're old enough to be my father, I would say that it's your generation that fell asleep at the wheel. Huh, weird. This stuff, the porn industry has been left to do whatever they want for far too long, and it's wrecking so much. If you don't like the examples I'm bringing to the table, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. But no, you don't need my permission to smoke a cigarette or a joint or have a beer or view porn. Like, I don't really have an issue with you sinning or messing up or making the wrong decisions. I'm just pointing out the facts on the porn industry and how porn has been used as a weapon over the years. You could be upset. That's okay. And for the record, I'm not the moral police. I have many issues, and I am not a perfect person. Period. But I think we can have a conversation about porn without pointing fingers at each other. And if you felt like I was pointing a finger at you, I wasn't, and I apologize if it came off that way. 11-year-old kids, that's the average age a kid sees porn for the first time. We can't agree that that's an issue. I think it's a major issue. Just me. I don't know. Anybody wants to weigh in on the conversation, 615-737-9986. You can also text in on that number as well, or you can join us. We're having a conversation in the YouTube chat, so jump on in there as well if you want to. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers later today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. Here's ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula with what you can do as a consumer to maybe steer clear of those dyes.
We know that there are animal studies linking some of these dyes to cancer, and there are human studies linking some of these dyes to hyperactivity, neurologic, and behavioral issues in kids, and then some studies showing issues with inflammatory bowel disease and allergies.
Rally on Wall Street today, the Dow shooting up 800 points at the opening bell. It's held on to a 2% gain from yesterday's close. The S&P up nearly 2%. NASDAQ is over 2%. So basically, everything is where it was yesterday before the close. As the church mourns the passing of Pope Francis, the process begins to choose a successor. All cardinals eligible to participate in the conclave will be summoned to Rome. Of 252 cardinals, 135 are eligible, making this the largest and most diverse conclave on record. Here's ABC News papal contributor Father John Walk.
The conclave is secret in the sense that it's taking place behind closed doors, but it's a little different from most things that are secret, whereas your usual secrets are things you want to hide. That's not really what this is about. This is about keeping the cardinals away from external influences. It's not that they're doing anything particularly secret. In fact, what they do is known in general to the whole world.
Here in Tennessee, state lawmakers could take up a ban on Glock switches today. Channel 4's Amanda Harris says the House passed it yesterday.
The bill expands the definition of a machine gun and increases the penalty for having one. It also makes ammo possession during a violent crime illegal and bans probation for aggravated assault, including shooting from a car.
The bill's sponsors are the leading Republican legislators, House Speaker Cameron Sexton, Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson. And the corruption trial for former Tennessee Speaker Glenn Cassida and his Chief of Staff Cade Cothran starts today. They face 20 federal bribery, wire fraud, and money laundering charges. Cawthron accused of creating a fake company. Cassida accused of helping to give it state contracts, making the pair tens of thousands of dollars allegedly. Both could face up to 20 years in prison if they're found guilty. Vice President J.D. Vance on the second day of his mostly personal trip to India, along with his wife of Indian descent and children, visited a historic fort in Jaipur and then addressed a forum at the Rajasthan International Center.
I've been amazed by the ancient beauty of the architecture of India, by the richness of India's history and traditions, but also by India's laser-like focus on the future.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.1106 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us. We're live on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Any of the audio that you hear coming through your radio, if you watch us on Super Talk TV during this show, you'll see the video to accompany it. Shout out to Mason for always making that happen. But we were having a conversation about Kanye West and this message he sent out. I was going through your texts on the text line, and I got one text here, and it said, "Changed my colonoscopy till May 19th. Oops, wrong number." I'm not gonna put you on blast, but that made me chuckle behind the scenes. Good luck with your colonoscopy.
I love his final response. Man, I'm blushing.
I know. Well, hey, good luck. Good luck. It's kind of on topic a little bit.
Kind of.
It's
adjacent.
It kind of fits. Yeah. So Kanye West put out this tweet, and I know people aren't huge Kanye fans. Understandable. I get it. But he said he put out this song called "Cousin" about his cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him We wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I blanked my cousin's blank till I was 14, admitting that as a child he had an incestuous relationship with a cousin and performed oral sex on him. It's wild. Now, there's a couple things that you can branch off with Kanye. Maybe he's trying to become a victim, and he's putting this out there to get Hollywood to, welcome him back, and we feel so bad for Kanye, and then they forget about everything else. Maybe he was being blackmailed with this information. He wanted to get out in front of it. Maybe he's just being brutally honest. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. Maybe he just doesn't have that filter, which has been displayed many, many times, and he's just letting it all out there. But I think it leads to a bigger conversation about pornography in general, and I think that the conversation needs to be had. Porn is a weapon, and I demonstrated a couple examples, brought a couple of receipts to the table of just different times that porn has been used as a weapon, and you can go to World War II. The Allies are porn bombing the German trenches with leaflets and pornographic magazines, so that way the Germans are distracted during the war. You can look at Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov is a KGB defector, and the videos are all over YouTube, but he said that the Soviet Union was trying to take over the U.S. without firing a single shot. One of the ways that they tried to do that was promote moral decay, and they wanted to do that by promoting pornographic art, literature, and media into society, and they wanted to do that to break down the family structure, to break down faith, to break down patriotism. He said that was happening from the 50s to the 80s, and I would just ask the question, how does the family structure, how does faith in this nation, and how does patriotism look as compared to the 50s to the 80s? I mean, you could probably make the argument that the Soviet plan was executed well and worked. You can fast forward, too, to a more modern example of this. 2002, during a military operation, Israeli troops seized control of 3 Palestinian TV stations in Ramallah, and they reportedly broadcasted pornographic content over these channels to demoralize and destabilize those populations. They were using porn as a weapon, and you can find all these examples of porn being used as a weapon. It makes you weak. It makes you mentally unstable. It hits the same receptors as cocaine. It leads to increased depression and anxiety. If you're married and you're using porn, you have twice as much of a chance as being divorced. It ruins your intimacy. They talk a lot about this incel culture that's on the rise, this involuntary celibacy that young men are dealing with, but they never ever correlate it with the rise in online pornography. And I think that you absolutely could. I think you could. It's ruining relationships. It's ruining a lot. And I see a lot of texts on the super text line. People talking about how young they were when they were exposed to pornography, very, very young. And I'm in the same boat. I saw pornography for the first time. I was very young. I must have been 8 or 9, and that's way too young. That's way too young. We got to do better as a society. We just have to. I think the average age right now is 11, and it could be younger. But it spurned a conversation, and some people are very upset at me for being anti-porn. Well, sorry. It just, the reality of it is that porn is a weapon. It's been used as a weapon multiple times throughout the last 100 years. You can point to very specific examples of porn being used as a weapon. And I ask the question, is it being used as a weapon now? I think you can make the argument that it is. Makes people upset, makes people uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about this. Guys definitely don't want to talk about this. 1 in 4 guys are using porn at work now. At work. Dog, we got to get that under control. That's not a good look. It's just not. Dave in Manchester wants to talk about pornography. What's up, Dave?
Hey, thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely, man.
I agree with you on restricting porn or restricting access for kids. That's really important. So I want to make a comment of something similar to the shoot 'em up video games, the violent video games. And so I'm a firearms instructor and a 2A supporter, and I hear a lot of people complain about school shootings, but nobody talks about the kids using these violent shoot 'em up games starting when they're 8, 9 years old, and they basically grow up with that. Well, that's a psychological damage. I mean, they use that for training in military for wartime.
Yeah.
And so, the same thing. We need to restrict porn, and just like we restrict porn or cigarettes or drugs or explosives or knives, we need to, restrict the shoot 'em up violent video games as well.
Yeah, hey, I hear your point, Dave, and I appreciate the call. Let's go to Ernie in Cool Springs. What's up, Ernie?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Couple of points. One point I'm not going to agree with you on, and another point I will agree with you on. And I wanted also to give you some ideas as far as what to do about this. Cool. You mentioned about kind of like guys that are involuntarily celibate. The porn does not cause that. Porn is actually caused by hurts, loneliness, anger, and fear. It's a way to it's a symptom to medicate deeply rooted negative emotions. As far as
but you can look at studies. Journal of Sex Research 2016 study found that porn use is linked to lower sexual satisfaction and decreased commitment in relationships. You could correlate that with the rise of the incel movement.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with that, because a lot of times it's men that don't have relationships that will turn toward. But let me propose some or throw some ideas as far as what to do about it. There's Sex Anonymous, which is a 12-step program that deals with this type of stuff, and the other program is called Celebrate Recovery, which is a 12-step Christ-centered recovery program which deals with all addictions, whether they be sex addictions, chemical, narcotic, gambling, food, and various, pretty much anything under the sun, pretty much A to Z.
Yeah.
That is as far as dealing with it, I think being able to hold, where you have a group of people that hold one another accountable, that can encourage one another, that can support each other, that's the way to do it. Silence is the worst thing.
But I think that's the worst. I agree with you. Silence is the worst thing. But I think that this is one of those things that nobody's talking about, but a lot of guys are dealing with, and I think a lot of women are dealing with too, albeit at a lower rate. Though those numbers are trending upwards. It's the silence around the conversation, and I think it's a lack of education. I think that a lot of people don't understand how porn has been used as a weapon over the course of history, and they don't understand that they could be a target right now. And I do. I think it's like a spiritual war, man, and I think it's something that we got to get under control.
I would agree with that, but like I said, I think being able to, like I say, being able to support one another. Porn. Any addict is only as sick as their secrets. So sunshine and transparency and being open and honest are ultimately the best solutions. So, and I think there we can probably see eye to eye.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I think that we have to be able to make it a national conversation where it hasn't been. Then I think the furthest that we've gone on this conversation is restricting it for kids. But I think that we need to have more dialogue around it.
Well, that's why I say there are groups out there that that can deal with that. But again, the first step though is like an alcoholic or a drug addict, they have to admit that they have the problem. Their denial has to be pierced.
Yeah, I hear you, Ernie, and I appreciate the call, man. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I'm just going through the text line. A lot of people are weighing in on this. Some people think that P. Diddy had dirt on Kanye West, and that's why he's getting out in front of this. He has. That wouldn't shock me. Would that shock you? So this conversation started because Kanye West put out a tweet where he admitted to an incestuous relationship with his cousin while they were children, performing oral sex on him until the age of 14, which is heartbreaking on a few levels. That's awful. Now, take the man Kanye West out of it, and I'm sure that you could see this story repeated multiple times across the country with individuals that we will never hear from and never know their name. But this is what the porn leads to. Now, I asked, why did Kanye put this out? Is he trying to gin up support and be a victim? That could be. Is he trying to get out in front of blackmail? Possibly. You can't blackmail somebody if you put out the blackmail material to the public on X. It kind of negates the potential for blackmail. 7007 said Diddy may have had dirt on Kanye. Kanye has been supportive of Diddy online. So I don't know if is that out of the realm of possibilities? Like, no, nothing these days is out of the realm of possibilities. But if Diddy did have dirt on him, I don't know if he would have supported him and then changed his tune at the last minute. I don't know. But the story's wild. And Kanye West is definitely creating a conversation. I think it could create a much larger conversation around the porn industry in general. Greg in Nashville, what's up, man? You're next on Super Talk.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Hey, I understand the issue in which you're talking about. I don't like it any more than the next guy does, and I know that you're covering it, and that's okay. But I don't agree with it, but we live in a society where this stuff is actually taking place, and it's difficult to deal with it. So I just wanted to say that, we're all Christians, not all of us, but we do the best that we can to try to survive and get ahead in life. And I just wish that there was a way in which we could all, just get along.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. I think, though, that as Christians, we spend too much time trying to get along. And I think sometimes we do need to go on offense. And when you look at the porn industry and what it's doing, how it's fueling sex trafficking, what it's doing to our kids, what it's doing to our society, what it's doing to marriages, what it's doing to families, I think we need to have an honest conversation about, is this good? And porn's been around for a while, and I understand that people are going to say the free speech thing, and I'm not even here advocating for restricting it entirely, but when you were a kid, the magazines had the little black plastic in front of them. You couldn't see the magazines unless you were 18. The back room at the video rental spot had a curtain, and you couldn't go back there if you were 18. This unencumbered access to pornography just all over the internet, it needs to be addressed somehow, some way. It has to. It has to. And we got to start having the conversation about it. It's 11:21. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. We had rain yesterday, and if it's getting into your crawl space in your basement, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, I should have called them already. You should have. But when it comes to these home repairs, I mean, especially waterproofing, it's kind of easy to ignore the warning signs, right? You get that little bit of water in the basement, you get the damp walls after rain, and then you hope it goes away, and it sort of dries up, and then you forget about it. But here's the truth. These small problems never stay small. The good news is that USS is going to come to your house and give you peace of mind. USS has done this for over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and they're not about sales pressure. You're not going to get a sales guy with a quota showing up to your house. You're going to get honest answers from people who care about your home, not the quota. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, the guys at USS, they're going to stand behind their work with warranties you can trust. They're locally owned, 30 years in the game. They're here for the long haul. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or you can always visit them online, ussTN.com.
All right, drivers, got some problems out there. A crash blocking the right two lanes of 40 eastbound at Donaldson Pike. In Smyrna, they're still cleaning up debris. It has the right lane blocked 24 eastbound at Almaville Road, and in Donaldson got a crash Lebanon Pike just east of McGavick Pike, and a crash reported 24 westbound right there at 440. All ears and eyes on Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. and what he's going to say today about the use of dyes in our food supply. That's at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 11:26. Show's brought to you by Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Everybody's talking about RFK today. That's that big press conference. You know what time of the press conference is?
I'll have to check on that, Brother Chris. Let me see here. Oh, goodness, I'm on something else here.
That's all right. That's all right. We're excited about it either way. I'll be covering that tomorrow in depth. Rosie O'Donnell. That one. The one from Ireland.
Can we go back to maybe debating on when the RFK speech is coming on? I'd rather talk about that than Rosie O'Donnell here.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell had some things to say about RFK. She just joined the Wolf Blitzer program on CNN, where they have hard-hitting news. So she zoomed in from Dublin, Ireland, and she's not a fan of RFK Jr. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I want to get your reaction to something that RFK Jr., the HHS secretary, recently said that sparked controversy with these comments about autistic people.
These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted.
Now, he has since clarified that he was talking about a subset of people with severe autism. I just want to make sure that that's out there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very disrespectful. I think it's disgraceful, and I think he is wholly unqualified to be the head of Health and Human Services. I think most of the cabinet picks that Donald Trump has made are part of his vision of a reality show government and not the most qualified people available, especially Robert Kennedy. And to think that his family is the one that created the Special Olympics and he would go on with such disgraceful, dehumanizing remarks is absolutely deplorable.
I don't like Rosie O'Donnell at all. Listen, Rosie, you do understand that he's giving a voice to the voiceless, right? Like you do understand that RFK wanting to find the cause of autism, because we're pretty sure that there is a cause to this rise in autism, is a good thing. Now, she's going to argue against it because why not? Anything that Trump touches is obviously bad. But I think it's important to point out the reality of the autism crisis in this country. And I was confronted with this post. A friend of mine, Aaron, sent it to me. And it says, this was posted by a mom on Facebook today. To all the people out there trying to prevent us from finding out what the root cause of autism is and why the rates continue to increase, now at 1 in 31 in the U.S., please read this. So I figured I would read it for you, and it's accompanying a picture with just a ton of holes in the drywall. And you see these holes in the drywall, and you're like, wow, what is that? And the post reads like this. Last night, my son was calm. We had one of those rare evenings where everything felt okay for a moment. But some days I'm running on maybe 3 hours of interrupted sleep because around 2 a.m., my 10-year-old nonverbal son is wide awake. Like many nights before, stimming, pacing, vocalizing. He can't tell me what's wrong. He never has. This is what our autism journey looks like. This is what people don't see when they post those autism is a gift graphic. It's diapers that he rips open to stim with soaked insides. It's calluses on his arms from biting himself until he bleeds. It's the screaming and sudden bursts of aggression that leave his younger siblings with scratches, bruises, sometimes worse. It's screwing metal plates over electrical outlets, replacing closet doors he rips off the hinges, mounting a fan to the wall, after he destroyed 3 others because he needs the sound to sleep, but he'll ruin it in a moment of impulse. It's a broken bedroom window at dawn and finding him in the backyard where he could have died from the glass. There's a pond across the street. He can't swim. Do you know how many autistic children die by drowning? We used to keep him in our room for years, just to keep him safe. We put a key lock on our bedroom door from the inside, baby-proof the room like our lives depended on it because his did. When he got too big to stay with us, we gave him his own space, only to find he would swing from the ceiling fan, flip his mattress, poop on the floor, throw his furniture. And he doesn't do it because he's bad. He does it because something in his brain won't let him rest. He doesn't play in his poop, thank God. But there were years of explosive diarrhea while we tried to toilet train him. 2 years ago, he finally stopped pooping in his diapers. That was huge. We celebrated something that most parents take for granted, but it didn't last. Not the peace. When he's calm, it's like watching a beautiful storm cloud finally break into sun. When the waves hit, it's violent. It's terrifying. Therapies, we've tried. Speech, OT, all of it. He does well for a while, then he regresses into aggression so severe that the therapists drop him and tell us he needs behavior therapy, which no one around here wants to take on. It's happened 3 times. We don't know what triggers the switch, but when it hits, it's holes in the walls. He slams, arm bites, blood, sweat, tears, literally. I fixed the drywall. I can't fix my son. And after our last family trip, which went surprisingly well, he came back and started attacking the walls, slamming his body to create huge holes. We replaced the door with a heavy-duty one after he busted through the first one during a meltdown. And the worst part, he's in there. I know he is. There are moments, split seconds, where I see his soul peek through, a smirk, a sparkle, a flicker of peace. But this is not peace. This is a prison. Don't tell me this is the next step in human evolution. Don't call this a gift. Don't romanticize this. This is neurological dysfunction. This is immune injury. This is a brain that cannot properly connect with the body, and he doesn't deserve it. The autism spectrum has done more damage than good because lumping my son in with quirky geniuses and chatty tech bros has left children like him without proper diagnosis, support, or even acknowledgement. We're invisible in plain sight, and we are tired. We've adapted to every corner of our lives just to survive. We can't go to Easter egg hunts, birthday parties, or anywhere without risk. And most of the time, I'm scared to even hope. But I'm writing this because someone needs to hear it. If this is your life too, I see you. If this isn't your life, consider yourself lucky, but don't look away because our story deserves to be heard. And our children, especially the ones who can't speak, need more than just awareness. They need help. They need truth. They need change. We're not okay, but we're not giving up. Not on our kids. Not ever. I wonder if Rosie O'Donnell heard that message, if she would change her tune about RFK. I think that she should, and I think she owes him an apology. It's 11:33 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Drivers, again, we got the right 2 lanes blocked of 40 eastbound at Donaldson Pike. It's stop-and-go traffic starting at Briley Parkway. In Smyrna, cleaning up debris, blocking the right lane of 24 eastbound at Almaville Road. And then a crash reported 24 westbound at I-440. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to call on food manufacturers today to phase out the use of 8 dyes in our food supply. The announcement aimed at targeting artificial dyes that are used in cereal, ice cream, snacks, yogurts, and more. The move comes from studies suggesting that dyes could be harmful. Here's Dr. Darian Sutton.
There are some studies that show with animal products, for example, animal studies that show that these dyes can be associated with cancer, but the FDA maintains we have not seen these associations within humans. But it's important to note that there are other studies that show that there might be increased risk to children.
Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter is among 4 Democratic members of Congress who just left El Salvador, where they say they were on a quest for answers about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran man arrested in Maryland, then deported last month for being here illegally and alleged ties to the MS-13 gang. Here's one of those lawmakers now.
The most important thing that this trip accomplished is keeping this story and the constitutional crisis. It really illustrates front and center. This is one man and family's nightmare, but it could be anyone's.
Well, here in Tennessee, the Tennessee Star says it's still seeking answers to why in 2022, the Biden FBI told the Tennessee Highway Patrol to let Garcia and 8 passengers in a car he was driving to go free from a 2-hour traffic stop where suspicion of human trafficking was raised. The Tennessee Star says it has also learned that Abrego Garcia inexplicably added more than 300 miles and 7 hours of driving to that trip from Texas to Maryland. by stopping in St. Louis, Missouri. And as the church mourns the passing of Pope Francis, the process begins to choose his successor. All cardinals eligible to participate in the conclave will be summoned to Rome. Of 252 cardinals, 135 are eligible, making this the largest and most diverse conclave on record. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:40 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Betterwater LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, Betterwater.com. A lot of people on the text line, in the phone lines, and in the YouTube chat very upset about these comments from one Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones, that she made about RFK moments ago on CNN.
I want to get your reaction to something that RFK Jr., the HHS secretary, recently said that sparked controversy with these comments about autistic people.
These are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted.
Now, he has since clarified that he was talking about a subset of people with severe autism. I just want to make sure that that's out there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very disrespectful. I think it's disgraceful, and I think he is wholly unqualified to be the head of Health and Human Services. I think most of the cabinet picks that Donald Trump has made are part of his vision of a reality show government and not the most qualified people available, especially Robert Kennedy. And to think that his family is the one that created the Special Olympics and he would go on with such disgraceful, dehumanizing remarks is absolutely deplorable.
Oh, yeah, it's deplorable. RFK is just totally unqualified. RFK has made a whole group of people feel heard and seen for the first time. I mean, I'm getting texts. The text line's flooded with people who are just pissed off at Rosie O'Donnell and in support of RFK. And I got, just text after. Do you see the text line?
Dude, it's blowing up.
Text after text of individuals who have similar stories about their children dealing with autism, and Rosie O'Donnell being just a joke. I had one person say, as a father of a level 3 autistic son, I want to thank RFK, not yell at him. Thank him. And if you level 3, just so you're aware, on the autism, that is requiring very substantial support. Social communication is going to be off. There's going to be restricted, repetitive behaviors. The daily functioning is going to be off. Sensory sensitivities. That's a tough diagnosis to deal with. And these individuals are looking at RFK and saying, thank you. Rosie O'Donnell has no idea what she's talking about. And I'm frankly surprised that she even has I want to say a word I probably shouldn't say. So I'll say, I'm surprised she even has the spine to get on TV and talk like this. You looked up her qualifications?
Yeah, I checked. I just wanted to pull up to see where she was coming from when talking about this. She's a multifaceted entertainer with diverse credentials, including acting, hosting, producing, and Broadway involvement on The Flintstones, A League of Their Own, and Give Me a Break.
Oh, so nothing to do with autism?
No, not at all.
Perfect.
Not at all.
But, RFK, he works for Trump now. Orange man bad.
I'm glad CNN knows to pull the proper sources.
Unbelievable. Joni in Murray County is a special ed teacher. What's up, Joni?
Well, I support RFK and what he's doing and saying, but I appreciate that you read the Facebook post from that mother, because that sounds like many parents that I worked with. And when you have a kid that is so involved and aggressive and acting out, and you have to learn new techniques and ways to talk to them, ways to communicate with them. And it's not through talking, it's through devices, it's through pictures, and it's sometimes they'll cooperate, sometimes they won't. Anything that bothers them, they'll go off. And then you take that child and you put them in the school, the school setting, which is where I worked with them, and you have and then they're in classrooms where other kids are, and they can set each other off. It's a horrible situation for parents and families to be in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times that we think about autism and we think about very young children. We think about the 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, but at this point in our country, We have 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds who are still suffering from this. And these parents are just completely unseen. We never hear about them. We never hear about their story. There's never a big media coverage on their struggle. And now you have a group of parents who are looking at RFK going, thank you. Finally, somebody's saying it. And Rosie O'Donnell gets on TV and just says RFK is an evil guy because he works with Trump.
And you just brought up a good point. When these people get to be 40 and 50 and 60 and their parents can't take care of them anymore, where do they go?
I know.
They go to group homes. Hopefully, other family members aren't going to want to take care of them. And the sad thing is what that mother said is every once in a while you get a glimpse of what's inside of them, that there really is a personality inside of there. I worked with a kid one time, and I could tell that he was in there. And we worked, and then later on in the day, he was overstimulated and started throwing his Sunday shoes at us. Yeah. And I've been bitten, I've been clawed, I've been to the emergency room a couple of times, and I loved my job. I loved it. I felt like I made a difference.
Other than RFK's association with Trump, can you understand why anybody would be mad about RFK looking into the answers for this?
No, and the other thing about RFK is his aunt was locked away because she was not seen by the public. They had her in a home, and they had the money for a good situation, and she had some sort of mental illness or disability. It could have been the beginnings of autism. It could have been other things. I don't know exactly what it was, but I know I've read that she was placed somewhere where other people could take care of her. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah. And so he has the family background of
seeing it firsthand.
Having special needs, dealing with a special needs person, and then he has I am so thankful that he is willing to take that and come out and say, these parents and these people need help. Yeah. And we need to help we need to help our country to figure out what's going on with this.
Amen.
And how are these kids getting it? I mean, and I know they're saying it's not vaccines, but who knows? It could be vaccines. It could be color. It could be dye in the food. It could be the preservatives.
My favorite thing is that they're going to look at everything, and finally we're seeing that, and it's for the first time. Joni, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Leanne in the Borough, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Leanne?
Hey there, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I'm one of your faithful listeners, too. My mom and I really like your show.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But it really got my heart, though, when you were talking about that post and when you read it. And I'm thankful that RFK is looking into these things, too. And it's really good to have that. And what I told Mason is that I'm totally blind from birth, and my music, that's what I do. I sing, and that helps me sometimes when I can't express things. But yes, I can talk.
Yeah.
But there are stories on YouTube that I've been hearing, and these stories really get to my heart, and some of them are about autism. And they get in and talking about that the one thing that parents can try is music. If you think about it, Chris, music is a language that can really speak in such ways that sometimes music, I think, from what I've been listening to, is one of the ways that autistic people, even some in their early 20s, 30s, so, I know it sounds, some of them, a lot of them can't speak or talk, but then there's something that music just brings it out of them.
Yeah, I hear you, Leanne, and I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you listening, as always. Amy in the Borough, real quick, what do you got, Amy?
Hey, Chris, the other part that they're not talking about or not taking into consideration, and my son is a level 2 autistic individual. He's 8 years old. My husband is autistic. My daughter is autistic. My stepson is autistic. My whole family is full of individuals with autism at multiple different levels. Is the comorbidities that go along with it. The autism isn't just the only thing. Most people with severe autism also have seizures. They are violent as everything when they come out of those seizures. I worked on the ambulance for almost 20 years. These kids are sick. They are not just sick from autism, but they're sick from the things that go along with it. Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell activation syndrome, dysautonomia. It's horrible. And, every member of my family who has a child who has one of these conditions would give anything to have their child cured.
Yep. I hear you. I hear you, Amy, and I appreciate your call as always. This is going to be. I do think that RFK is going to get some answers. What those answers are, I mean, we're going to all find out together. I think a lot of us have suspicions, but we don't have the evidence to back those up yet. And I think that that's going to change relatively quickly, Lord willing. RFK will be having that press conference this afternoon, eliminating food dyes out of the food supply within 2 years. That's fantastic. But I love what RFK is doing, and I love how fearless he is in doing it. It's 11:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Betterwater, LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, Betterwater.com. Brian Wilson was in for Chad yesterday. Chad is back today. What's up, Chad?
What's up? What's up?
I
keep hitting it, but I do it twice.
You got the rust.
There we go.
You got rust?
I do. No, I already did a show today. I've done 2 things today already. It's funny. I take a day off, but I still do more shows than everybody else. Because I did 9 shows last week, and I'll do probably 8 or 9 this week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got to do morning, then here. I got to do some at night. You never know.
It's a lot of shows.
It is a lot of shows. I came back. I'm like, I hope all this, Garcia Brego stuff is done.
No.
Nope.
No. They're still coming. Democrats are still going.
4 days? They haven't sorted this out?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Did you know he's a member of MS-13?
I don't even know what he's a member of at this point in time. The Crips, the Bloods, MS-13. He's also a 1%er. Motorcycle club.
Yeah. He's in the Maryland Harbor Yacht Club.
Of course. Well, he's a member. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a Maryland man.
So, well, of course.
That's what they do.
He loves some chowder.
I know. Are you? So you didn't think that this was still going to be a story?
I thought it would be a little bit. I thought it'd be more still about, and I saw Van Hollen over the weekend. I saw clips yesterday. I'm like, I guess I should look at the news. That, he's trying to change it into this is about due process.
It's a pivot. The pivot is on.
The pivot is because, okay, wait a minute. Maybe this guy isn't all that we thought he was. And, So, yeah, so I saw a little bit of that. But
it turns out defending a gang member that beats his wife is not a good look.
No, especially when people aren't paying that kind of attention. They're worried about tariffs. They're worried about the cost of life. There's a new study out. 83% of Americans are financially, right now, they're terrified. They can't put together enough money should there be a $1,000 emergency. They've stopped saving. But you're out there, trying to bring some guy home, and people are like, no.
Yeah.
No. What about us?
Yep. You're absolutely right. What other stories caught your attention as
the Pope died? Pope ain't easy. I don't know if you listen to our show, but our good buddy and yours, Bell, he reminded everybody that Pope ain't easy.
It is not.
And it's over now that JD killed him. And so, the minute that happened, because I saw a picture of it early, Sunday, I'm like, oh, JD was there, whatever. And I just told my wife, watch something happens. This is going to blow up. Sure enough, it's like, he killed him. I'm like, really?
Now he's trying to kill Modi.
Yeah, he's tougher to kill.
JD Vance is on the death tour.
Oh, the insanity of the conspiracy theories, how fast wacky stuff spreads.
How weird is it, though, if you were the last guy to get a gift from the Pope?
That's pretty cool.
Right?
Right. I'm watching the news and they made it seem like it was some tragic ending. He was 88 in frail health for the last several years. The fact that he made it this long was a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
And he was probably exhausted.
He made Biden look like he was an example of health.
Yeah. I mean, he had double pneumonia. He was in the hospital for 33 days, and then he had type 2 diabetes. They said he had a stroke. That's what finally killed him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, high blood pressure, hypertension. We can go on and on and on of all the stuff. A normal person would have died years ago, but they don't have the stuff that Pope and stuff has.
No.
Pope ain't easy, baby.
All it took was JD Vance. That's it.
Just a secret spy handshake with some stuff on it. That's this will give you a retroactive double pneumonia.
A little fish toxin or something like that. Yeah, 100%.
Putin taught me this.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.